Aloha. Aloha Ke Akua. Aloha Aina. Malama Pono. Amene. Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityorma Mritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya. From unhappiness to happiness, from darkness to light, and this means the divine light. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya, from death to deathlessness, from having a mortal body and dying and that being it, to a transcendence at the end of this lifetime into deathlessness, into immortality. That's the promise of Jesus Christ, actually. This is from India, this is old. Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. From death to deathlessness. Okay. So it is the 6th of April, and I'm in the United States officially, but 2,300 miles away from the mainland, on the big island of Hawaii, sitting on beautiful Ana. Doing with the basics. All right, so I am asserting copyright to this material, but I'm going to allow permission to copy, not modify, distribute conditionally. So copyright 2025 Benjamin Lipman, conditional permission to copy, share, and distribute. Permission is conditionally given to distribute per share-alike license, e.g. with full attribution. This permission is conditional and subject to change. No permission is given to modify this content. Mahalo. I do not give permission to apply my content or likeness in any form to any application involving artificial intelligence. Now, while we're at it, a while ago, about 2 years ago, something happened and the phones were recording me. I didn't know it. I have no idea where that all went. That relates directly to today's topic, sort of like a pirate channel, if you will. And I actually gave permission to distribute my content, and that's fine because it might have made me famous. I have no idea. Whatever Google says is the looks on my stuff, you can probably just toss that away with a grain of salt, because apparently I am interesting. Yeah, see this missing finger? Like there's no way I could hide from AI these days. My face is known apparently everywhere. At least to every cell phone camera. So we've talked about a lot of this. I am going to so there's an R-rated channel, Ben of Kona, at Ben of Kona. This is at Ben Lipman 1. My main channel, which is PG. Today we're kind of in PG-13. So this is really not for the young children. This is for people who either are adult or want to be adult, think they're adult, and are facing our moment. There's a huge trade war on, the stock markets are tumbling, and what's going on, right? So what is the world according to Ben Lipman in this moment? People might wonder. There's stuff going on with me, besides having written what might be an important physics book and this and that. The little firefly chats when I was reading the Dhammapada, didn't finish that, by the way, and I'm going to finish that under copyright. Maybe even comment. There's some really cool content. I was listening to the audio, and Akua was just really coming through. It was so beautiful. And so that seems to be true for me. There's a divine reality that's going on here. I'm not going to talk about that much here, but it kind of gets into like biblical. So I'm wearing my protective outer layer shell helmet with a kitchen towel, but it kind of looks crusade-y, so I'm going with it. So talking about that, I'm going to be doing 3 segments. This is the first talk tonight, assuming I get it all done. This is sort of about the past and how did we get here. And if we're going to do that, then we have to talk pirates. Now, I did some research on pirates, and I was really disturbed because it's very deep, very profound, and there's a lot of history of human slavery. Pirates would take gold, but they would also take slaves. And in modern times, we have the Russians taking children from Ukraine, and a lot of criminal organizations traffic people, and there's limited. It's just surprising, but it goes on still today. And of course, we have the slave history. We have white supremacy, where some white people feel they're somehow superior and can economically disadvantage and disregard laws and things to disadvantage people who are black or progressive. So a lot of gay people are being fired or mistreated right now in the United States. Huge civil rights violations. Civil rights structures are being dismantled. This isn't making America great. This is something else. Anyway, so pirates. There's a Monty Python skit featuring, they love the Crusades get up and all that, but there's a little skit, I think it's in I don't remember if it was The Life of Brian, I just don't remember, but there are these office buildings sailing like pirate ships, and they're firing the filing cabinets at each other, because the metaphor is that a corporation, a modern corporation, is analogous to a pirate ship, right? They'll do whatever they can to get gold, and they'll get people to work for them at the cheapest possible rate anywhere in the world, and aggregate gold and wealth for the shareholders or the tycoons or whatever. These days we use a billionaire and oligarch and things like that, but whatever. We're kind of going back to the old era around the turn of the century, between the 20th and 21st century, right, where we had the robber barons. It's sort of like that now. Anyway, but whole nations also are kind of like pirate ships or pirate armadas, sailing on dangerous waters, right? And now with this trade war stuff, and it's like, now there's also this kind of theme of, okay, you've got pirate ships, nations like fighting with each other. We're kind of getting into warfare, right? That's like naval warfare, world war. So that's another talk. That's basically the present. So that's coming. Are we actually in World War III now? And how do we manage that? Because it's also a nuclear era, right? It's terrifying. So that's next. We're talking pirates. So on a pirate, you have a culture, and there's a pirate culture. There's civilized pirates. There's this parlay, and that gets romanticized, right? And there may be women who get treated well on a given ship, and within a given pirate group, there might be codes of conduct, and you're like a good person inside that group. Like if you're a white supremacist, you might have, within white supremacy, you might have good people, even though you all believe that black people should be enslaved, and whatnot. And then there's history with the British Navy actually using privateers to take on the French and things like that. And that's kind of when this country was born. Our founders, they were basically smugglers, pirates. They just didn't want to pay tax to the king, to King George. So inside modern pirates, criminal organizations, corporations, but also you've got real criminal organizations, and then you've got activity that's done in national interest, but is not according to normal laws. It's okay to assassinate your enemies if you really decide that they are terrorists and whatnot. So inside certain organizations, there are some codes, and this is one of the reasons why I'm doing G, PG, R, X, And that's because I am a servant of the divine. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you. If you aren't adult, if you aren't with divinity yet in your life, I'm here to help you find that. And in the Little Firefly era, there were people who were coming around, they're like, oh my God, I feel the presence of God. I mean, people were really talking like that. And maybe they were. And if they were addicted to drugs, for them, this was the best drug they'd ever experienced, and they behaved accordingly. But this isn't a drug. This is God. This is the divine. And on this island, we have Akua on many orders available, right? And then kind of in this biblical thing is like, we have a church of Saint Michael here. It's a Catholic church, but I'm using the old name, Michael, because it honors old traditions. Right? People have been talking about Michael for a long time. Why? Well, he's the archangel. He's kind of a big deal. He's not God. He's not the overarching divinity, right? He's an interface that we can have with a very high level interface, and there's a lot of power there. It's astounding, and have sort of direct experience, we can say, and a story. Not today, another day. Okay, another day. We'll do Mikael and Ben later. And that's fine on this channel because that's PG-13 probably. It's going to be activating for some people possibly, but that's what I want to do. I want to have my heart open. I want to just kind of work with notes, kind of stream of thought, because then Akua can come in. That's how the Dhammapada teachings work. It's like read the Dhammapada, okay, commentary. What wants to come in? Like what commentary is available, what insights might be there for our time, for us now. So kind of keeping it informal and personal. I think there's more, I think it's just going to be better that way. It's also like, it's more fun for me and more relaxing, probably more interesting because you get to see me, you get to know me. And I'm just going to share from my heart, and then if it's like X-rated stuff, it's like, no. And why? Because I want to be here for all the humans. I want to be available for everybody. And we'll get into that. I think we're on a wrong course. I think we're in a really dangerous place. I think we're facing these crises, but I actually think humanity itself is facing existential risk, partly because of our technology and its misuse. We're not managing it properly, basically is the way I put it. And so I think we really need to think about our children, and this is every human being on earth. So I'm speaking to all of you, every human being on earth. You might recall I talked about an axis, right? And the purpose of us on earth is to basically become engaged in a galactic love field. That's like our high purpose. If we're letting pirates rule the show, we'll probably not achieve that, right? Okay, so today what we see is a suppression of communication from this, let's just call it the criminal quarter. Don't talk about abuse of children by social media companies. TikTok ban has now been suspended again, but the reason I think that Congress wanted to suspend TikTok is there was testimony that TikTok was being used to cultivate children to do sexual things, and they had a parade of children in front of a group, a bunch of paying adults. Horrible. Is that still going on? And I think part of the reason that can't be really dealt with by those in this tech quarter is it may be happening on all the social media platforms, actually. But the one that's run by China is actually run by China and is dangerous for our national security. I think that might be true. Why it's being allowed to continue, even though Congress was absolutely clear. Food for thought. Okay, so then we also have remarkable surveillance on phones, computers, otherwise. Google was busted for offering a security feature which turned out to be bogus. That's just the news. Elon Musk has decided there will be no moderation of content on X at all. Why? I wonder. Okay, so the theme for pirates, what I want to talk about is the pirate ship of Mammon. Now that's an expression I heard somewhere. That's the United States. There's actually a pirate armada of Mammon, like a whole bunch of corporate structures that will do whatever they can to return money back to their shareholders. They will rape and pillage and do damage to the environment, hurt people if they can get away with it, and make money, right? A lot of them. And what they're doing in tech, on computers now, in terms of civil rights violations and so on, is, frankly, it's off the charts. And then we have foreign actors also participating, doing things like interference of elections. And I'm not sure we had a free and fair election in 2024, frankly. So be it. The pirate armada of Mammon. So a lot of spiritual people are looking from afar, from outside the United States, at the United States, and say, wow, this is a capitalism, naked capitalism, that's just not really taking care of the planet, not taking care of people, just making rich people richer, robber barons. Now, where do those ideas come from in economic theory? I'm not an economist, but what I know is that a basic economic principle is, it's called tragedy of the commons, where companies can take from what is considered to be some common thing, like our environment, maybe our climate, and they don't have to pay for it, and there's no consequence even though they degrade it. So Exxon has been sued for lying about what they knew about global warming. Well, we're talking in the 70s. And I don't think significant action has been done on that. And the petrochemical companies under our current so-called president are having probably more freedom than they should to cause damage to our world. Now, the United States is not the only dubious player in the game, obviously. So where does money come from, right? We've got the U.S. Treasury and the Federal Reserve, and that Federal Reserve is apparently like this private money generating, I don't even understand it. But another way to make money is to exploit people and the planet. So sort of the outflow side of that in our world would be the stock market, jobs. People use the term wage slave. And then interest that banks make on loans. And there's probably more. And then in crypto, which is this interesting new idea, for the most part, according to Ben Lipman, that's mostly just a Ponzi scheme, because where's the value, right? And dollars, just dollars sitting in a bank account, where's the value? Well, it's backed by the faith, full credited faith of the United States, which, we'll see. We'll see. But crypto is just a bunch of numbers sitting in some computer somewhere. I pulled out of the stock market. Everything I have is I know. Now, somehow I have to pay property taxes and whatnot, right? And I'm coming from a family that's got stock market connections. That's me. But I don't get a lot from that. And honestly, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to continue. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might have to make bowls or something, because there's no way I can generate food for sale on the land I have that will pay Hawaii real estate prices. But I might do it with art. Tangible, physical art that can't be pirated. It's actual art that people will pay for. I thought I was going to write books, but the piracy issue is too heavy right now for any content, music, books. We have a problem. So a different model for economy involves the concept of enough and sustainability. And for that, we almost need to look back at old cultures that sustain themselves, like here. You had ahupua'as, and then a given bay, a certain village, they would manage the fishery of their own area, right? And they were the ones who were allowed to fish, and they had rules about what could be taken when and who could eat what fish and so on. I mean, it's very strict and not modern time at all, sort of like a caste system. But they did manage to sustain themselves, like for an ongoing basis, without a climate crisis. Right now on the farm, without supplemental water, I think I'd have a lot more dead trees. And I had a serious fire hazard that I had to deal with because we had a lot of rain and then drought, a lot of vines, very dangerous. So you can produce goods and crops with labor, art, whatnot. And basically it's human activity, and specifically where we advance, where we deepen our economy and make things better, is with human creativity, right? AI will never do that. That takes human beings. And that's important. And free human beings are more creative. Pirates just raid. They don't create, they just take, they plunder. So Silicon Valley is an interesting example where the beginning of Silicon Valley, there's a lot of creativity, a lot of new ideas, a lot of cool stuff was built. Now, it seems almost like there's like this infection of computers and malware and suppression of freedoms that's going on. It's kind of wrong. All right, so back to pirates. I think the right metaphor, there's an idiom that crossed my way, and the idiom is a wolf in sheep's clothing. And it turns out that may go back to the Greeks, to Aesop, but it found its way into the Bible. So far, what I know is that we have Matthew 7:15. So I used not to read the Bible. I used not to really be into speaking, talking about like what would Jesus do, right? Jesus was not a pirate. Jesus was so offended by the money changers, essentially piracy, usually happening inside the temple, that he flipped the money tables. Now, I don't really want to get in trouble like Jesus Christ of Nazareth. I don't want to be crucified, although there have been attempts in my life. But my hope is that people will say, as they've said before, is like, oh my God, he could have been killed. We're glad he wasn't killed. We're glad we didn't kill him, or however that went. So that's why I have the PG-13, R, and other categories. All right, I'm going to try to be there. And yet we're in this moment where we have an existential crisis. We have a situation, and I think we better talk about it. And it's PG-13 is what I'm going to claim today. PG-13 content. Okay. Because I mean, all the PG-13 kids, there's no way they don't grasp some aspect of everything that I've already talked about. So, Matthew 7:15. Now, watch out for false prophets, okay? Disinformation on the internet. Or politicians who are actually lying to you. They come to you in sheep's clothing. They might claim to be anointed by God, right? That's been happening for a long time. But inwardly, they are ferocious wolves. What were the Crusades? By their fruit you will recognize them, indeed. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Can you get the truth from Fox News or anybody who's on there now? Maybe, maybe not. If they're like serial liars, well, that's a thorn bush. Likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus by their fruit you will recognize them. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only he or she who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and in your name drive out demons and perform many miracles? Then I will tell them plainly, I never knew you. Away from me, you evildoers. In other words, they claim to go after demons and terrorists and right? But they're actually sending innocent people to Nicaragua, or who knows? I don't know. There was a letter sent out from the Trump administration to Ukrainians who have taken refuge in the United States, telling them they have to leave in 7 days or they're going to be persecuted. It was false, but can you imagine coming from war-torn Ukraine, having settled your family here, thinking you're safe, and receiving a letter from the U.S. government telling you you must leave within 7 days? 7 days. Leave, or we're coming after you. And they're talking about people just crying like uncontrollably because the PTSD these people already have is so profound. I can't even understand. I won't even try. Okay, separate topic is the way different books are, because we're talking about human realm. There'll be different verbiage. We'll get there later. I want to finish this. Okay, so the wolves. What are the wolves? In a sense, as a human being, we all have an inner wolf, right? I mean, that's why we have the holy books and why we have teachers and why we have actually pirates, period. Why if we live in the United States, we're riding in the armada of Mammon. We're benefiting from this huge military that makes oil cheap for us and does trade wars and all the things that happen to make goods cheap for us, and this huge market of opportunity that we have. And then it protects us, until recently, protects our freedoms and so on. So the wolf in sheep's clothing, I feel like that's an archetype for everything that is wrong with modern 2025 America. And it's actually most global corporate reality. It's the horizontal axis, right? It's greed. And if we're going to deal with this existential crisis, or this cluster of existential crises, which I think we can, by the way, 100% confident, it's going to require us to deal, first of all, with our inner wolf, our inner monster. And then we need to work on addressing the monsters, the real monsters. Putin is bombarding innocent civilians with bombs. Israel is essentially in genocide and convicted of it in the Gaza. Jesus would not approve. Okay, so what about what's going on? And what we see is a basic conflict of two cultures. There's the concept of the culture wars, right? And then now we're getting to the present. But essentially there's a conflict of a culture of mutual respect and cooperation. These are words from our current Minister of Canada now, beautiful words. And in that, think about the prospect for sustainability on planet Earth versus greed, selfishness, and we could say colonialism, piracy, slavery, but colonialism is a modern concept, is exploitation of people and planet. So that's the conflict, and basically this conflict and the rising of civil rights, the rising of ideas of sustainability and equality among people, even if you don't fit into one gender box or another, right? In Hawaii we have the concept of mahu. In indigenous cultures there's the two-sex person and things like that, and these people are revered because one human being actually understands deeply both sexes, right, what it is, and that person has a rich depth of understanding of the human condition that most people just simply wouldn't possibly have. So that person also may have, the spirits may come to that person, in fact, because of this. Maybe. But they're special. They're considered to be special people in indigenous cultures. And for a lot of us in America, yes, also. For me personally, absolutely. These people are deeply fascinating to me and intriguing, and I know I can always learn from someone like that. But the kind of regressive, I would say, a neo-fascist impulse is to attack these people. Like Hitler attacked people who were gay, who were handicapped, Jewish, because they weren't white and pure. We had World War II. We don't need a repeat. And we sort of have a repeat now. It feels like 1930s Germany, or an attempt. Obviously, that can't happen. What to do, that's part 3, the future, ideas. I don't know what to do. We're talking about the wolf in sheep's clothing. We need to talk about the sheep, the flock, and the good shepherd, I guess. We have the emissary from God, the message, at least in the Holy Book, the New Testament, but it's not the only one. We have many enlightened teachers who are helping people find their way. Some of them aren't alive now, but we have Buddha, we have Jesus Christ, we have Krishna, and so many saints, and so many Buddhas. And believe it or not, an authentic saint or an enlightened pope, if they really got there, then they're here now for us. We just have to tune in. We have to turn on the channel and say, okay, you're my guy, and there it is. And that's really true for the really powerful ones, Buddha and Jesus. I can testify. So the timeless metaphor, the sheep, the flock, the shepherd, sort of a timeless metaphor, at least certainly from 2,000 years ago. Now in modern parlance we have sheeple, and the emergence of normalizing a pirate culture to the sheeple, using these disinformation channels, that it's okay to steal software. I used to copy software all the time because I couldn't afford it otherwise, right? I would find a way, and people would do that. They'd share passwords, and now they share music illegally, they share books illegally. Meta just used a pirate source to train its AI. I think they've been prosecuted. I think the New York Times kind of went after them, but I don't know if it went anywhere because they got lots of lawyers and lots of money. So now we have computers with inbuilt, non-removable malware, and maybe even hardware backdoors designed for piracy. Well, make America great again. I think that's trying to catch people who remember when one nation under God, actually, people really wanted that and believed that. I actually think people do. And so maybe my primary audience today are people who realize that a mistake has been made in the United States. And they're not really getting what they thought they were going to get. They were told, oh, it's not going to be that bad. They're not really going to do this Agenda 25 or whatever. They're not really going to ship people out of the country without any due process, people who aren't criminals. They're not going to do that. Well, first they came for my neighbor's neighbor, then they came for my neighbor. When they came for me, there was nobody. It's time to really wake up, be adult, and really look at the situation. So, on the subject of books, so for instance, let's see if I can find this. Okay, so Matthew 7, the very beginning, do not judge or you too will be judged. In other words, keep your heart open. So there's the difference between judgment and discrimination, right? Science isn't about judging, it's about trying to figure out what's going on and still retaining some doubt, like, I'm not sure, right? And certainly on the internet today, everything you read, anything that's there, any news article, by humans, for humans, there might be AI, there's probably an agenda, but it may not be what certain quarters are saying. I think that a lot of the public content, NPR, AP, is pretty much journalism, the way journalism used to be. It's not always perfect. Often there's a disclaimer if there's a problem. And we would contrast that with, say, Fox News, which isn't technically a news organization, so they can't be sued for lying. Technically, legally, they're an entertainment organization, but they're embedded in all the TVs now. I don't know. Okay, Matthew 7. Okay, so here in this book, for in the same way you judge others, you will be judged, and you, with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. So I'm hoping I live my life in a way that I treat everybody the way I wish to be treated, that I'm honest as best I can. I hope other people will be honest with me, that I'm straight up as much as I can, I'm fair, I use money fairly, and I try to be gentle as best I can on this earth, and with other people, and I hope they will be with me. Now, obviously, that's not entirely what's going on, but I can't do anything about it. All I can do is wear some headgear and live my life. Okay, so here it is, a different one. For with the judgment you pronounce, you will be judged, and with the measure you use, it will be measured against you. Now here's where it gets kind of fun. This is the Gideon's Bible. Why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? Clearly, very exaggerative word embellishment. And when Buddha's stuff gets into China, it gets embellished enormously, right? And you just sort of have to read through that. And obviously, Jesus probably didn't use the word log. He probably used the word splinter, right? How can you say to your brother, let me take that speck of sawdust out of your eye when there is a splinter in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the splinter out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. That sounds like really sound advice in that situation, right? But what we have is this double speak going on. It's right out of Russian, intelligence, and it's being like parroted and used in this Magaverse. Okay, this is the New International Bible. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye? I like the sawdust. And pay no attention to the plank in your own eye. How can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, when all the time there's a plank in your own eye, you hypocrite? So basically, these should be, really close, and they are close, very close. But there's human intervention changing language. And again, I think the original language was splinter. It just makes a whole lot more sense. Am I going to write a Bible and publish a Bible saying, okay, this is mine? No, I'm not. There's enough Bibles out there. But the point is that we have different versions of the Bible. And so what is the Word of God? In this case, the human being who is inspired by God, let's say, Jesus, what did he actually say? Well, originally it was in Aramaic and then Greek, and now we have English, and we have different versions, and their Gospels were selected from, and then there's the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it goes on and on. In Buddhism, in Theravada Buddhism, you have a pretty nice lineage. That's why I like the Dhammapada. So what is the Word of God actually, right? It's not human language. God doesn't speak directly. Now you might get it'll be probably an angel actually, who's putting words. God himself is above and beyond all, right? And in Vedic culture, we say Sat Chit Ananda, beyond form, beyond quality, beyond goodness. And it's this Sat Chit Ananda, truth, peace, and pure awareness. And we can touch that in meditation. We can be in that field, the field of Brahma. It's possible. But then there's the personal aspects of this divine that come up. Angels, saints, goddesses. If you know, you know. That's all I can say. And at some point, I really would like to just answer people's questions, because I really like the informal conversational. But my sharing with you is that God isn't actually coming down with the Word of God. God is presenting communication to your heart. And you know, when divinity is present and speaking to your heart, you know it's true. You feel it, you know it. And that's every human being. So what sings to your heart? What you know to be divine, that's your holy truth. It could be the chirp of a bird making you feel good. It could be seeing a dolphin playing in the ocean. It could be seeing the woman that you love cooking dinner for you, or making love with you. I mean, it could be anything. I think we're PG-13 here. Hope so. Yeah, we're not going deeper than that on that. But basically, it is the message that speaks to your soul, to your heart. Your heart is, in yoga, the heart is the closest part of the antakarana, the mental equipment. It's the closest thing to your soul. And if your heart really is clear about any decision you make, we always we're waiting for heart to tell us. And so I've been waiting for my heart to tell me that it's time to talk to the camera. We'll see where it all goes. Okay. But if there's a divine presence and you feel it in your heart, then that is the spirit of divine transmission to you. And you'll know it's true. There's a lot of false out there, and you can have the diamond chakra. You can think something is, be wary. Make sure your ego isn't misleading you, right? So on this subject of criminals and piracy and so on, corporations. Okay, you have lawyers who defend criminals, fine, but then you have lawyers who are expert at defending criminals and can actually get them off, or defer their sentencing up until maybe they get the right judge they want. We now have a corrupt Supreme Court. This is a big problem. What is the spirit of law? We just had a ruling by the Supreme Court where, if I understand correctly, 5 out of 4 justices, without really adequate information, made a ruling that was partisan, right? Because they're not really doing their job. They're not actually being justices in defense of the U.S. Constitution. There's a partisan corruption problem, and that's been building up for a while. So this is a key point, what is the spirit of the law, and what is the letter of the law? When we get to the Quran, for instance, what is the transmission from Allah to Muhammad that is then reported by Muhammad? It's about divinity and justice and love and caring. I'm not an expert on the Quran. I'm not going to claim that I am, okay? But then if you get into literal and you only pick and choose your verses, right, then you get justification for jihad and terrorism and things. And part of that is this perception that the pirate armada of Mammon is actually ruining the world, which, frankly, is not wrong. Right? This is a problem. So, would you pick up arms against the armada of Mammon if it's destroying the world and you feel like it's your spiritual duty to do something about it? Would. I mean, maybe we can go in there and understand why some people make the choices they do. But what I want to talk about is the spirit and the letter of the law. So the spirit of the law has intention. And so when we get to the Constitution, there's people who literally interpret the Constitution and twist it and turn the words. Clinton got off on the word, what is the word is? What does the word is mean, right? Ultimately, these high-powered lawyers, they let him off. Because they wanted to, right? we need to really consider the spirit of the Constitution and restore democracy in the United States deeply, and restore civil rights. And basically we have a 200-year experiment. We've learned a lot. We've grown a lot. We're a much bigger country, a much more complicated country. And now we have computers and nuclear weapons and internal combustion engines. So people who are in power are using the authority of law, but do not respect the spirit of the law, in my humble opinion, do not deserve the position and should be deposed. So now we're coming into like present and future. This might be the transition. But in closure, in contrast to piracy, never mind rules, laws, parties, politics. Our guiding star should be love, our heart, right? Which is the closest thing we have to the divine. We know it. And the Egyptians had 2 heart chakras. A lower one for personal love, you fall in love with a person or your family, that's like a certain love. But there's a higher love, which is unconditional love, love for all people. The planet, all the animals, understanding that, seeing the forest. They say you can see the trees for the forest. You don't understand the forest, you're just seeing the tree, and you cut down the tree and make logs. But you don't understand that if you cut this one tree, that's a really important tree, and then certain animals won't have what they need, and the forest ecology will be irreparably damaged. And that's a problem, right? And that's this sort of pirate attitude that needs to change. So, what would Jesus do? What would someone who emanates love, who really is in touch with the loving spirit and knows God's presence in the heart, what would Jesus do? So it's pretty clear that what's going on at the top right now in the United States it's obviously wicked. There's lying, there's cheating, there's stealing. We have this convicted criminal siding with our enemies. The letter that went out to the Ukrainians, the refusal to enforce the TikTok ban. I mean, it's endless. Tearing apart the institutions of democracy, eliminating offices of civil rights, attacking the Peace Corps, disabling the IRS so people can presumably cheat on their taxes. I can't imagine why else you disable the IRS when you're claiming you're trying to bring more money back. Giving tax breaks to the very wealthy on the backs of the poor, which is exactly what's happening. This is not making America great. And so if you're a common person and you actually love Jesus or any other divinity, or you just love the living earth, you care about your Aina, your farm, and you see that these people, even though they say they're not going to rip apart Social Security and Medicaid and whatnot, but that's the only way they're, pretty much, I mean, how are they going to pay for these huge tax cuts? We see, or this private inurement that's happening, and the lies that are being told. I invite you to keep watching here. But really, just go in your heart and listen. And if you are trapped in the MAGA-verse, if you're just watching Fox News and these other channels all day, make a little space for something else. And maybe turn it all off for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. I don't know. Just take a break. But open your heart to truth and love. And then you may find that you know joy more than you ever did before. And you may find that you have connections with people that you wouldn't normally. And then you find these are really good people that you actually have more in common with than you thought. And they're people you were hanging out with who might not be very nice people in general, and you would actually prefer not to have as much relationship with those people, or maybe you all are growing up at the same time and waking up, and that's a beautiful thing. So, yeah, this is about picking an axis to make your priority, right? Because one of my favorite passages these days is Matthew. I'm only starting. I'm in the first book. Matthew, I'm not even through the first book. Matthew 6:24. No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money. One nation under God, on our money. So whoever put that together was pretty clear about this. How have we done? Let's say there's room for improvement. So yes, we can make America great again. Maybe. America used to be a nation that espoused slavery and didn't respect civil rights. We still don't have an Equal Rights Amendment, right? So let's make America great, or let's make a new America great. One nation under divine authority, which is our hearts. What would Jesus do? Serve the master of divinity, and your personal development, your personal growth, your birthright to become like a saint, like a Buddha. It's really just a matter of choice. It's aspirational, obviously, to be a better person, to be a good person, as a goal. To know your inner wolf, conquer your inner wolf, right? And find your inner Jesus Christ, and bring that forward. Live in aloha. Aloha Ke Akua. Aloha Aina. Malama Pono. Every day, before bed, make things right. Make in your heart. Right? Put the wolf down to sleep. Live. Just go to sleep as a baby Jesus, basically. Amen. So, to close, right? Could be right. And then, I don't know where this is all going, but yeah. I mean, if I could get a little, I don't need a lot of money. If I had a little bit of money, I would actually pay my bills. Right now, if I just live my fairly modest life in an expensive place, I'd give you that. But I don't really have a choice because this Aina needs me here now. So if I'm going to eat the quality food I eat, which is for my health, I'm a Lyme disease survivor, I need just a little bit of help. Not much. But if you feel like it, feel free. Yes, I know there are powers that will track you giving me money, and if that's not safe, don't do it. Now we're going into the PG plus, so but I have to put it out there. Okay. Aloha nui loa. Malama pono. Mahalo for watching. I love you. Love each other. Take care of each other. Let's take care of our world. Let's stand up. And this is our moment. It's not business as usual. This is a precarious, critical moment. It's time for all of us to go into our hearts and be with each other and live courageously, but wisely, right? So Buddha, skillful means, compassion and wisdom for this time, not a normal time. I'm already targeted, in trouble. There's no way I can get out of it. I'm interesting. I have a missing finger and a face that AI knows. AI's got every bit of me in there. So I'm on this Aina, living my life, and I'm okay. It's okay. So, aloha nui, big love. Love, peace, and light. Live in joy.